welcome to It Happened on the Job. We are episode 15, our podcast for entertaining and sometimes relevant conversations with contractors. My name is Mike. With me is Brian.
How you doing?
And today with us we have Adam Tallabas. Is that right? Did I say that right?
That is correct.
Perfect.
Right on.
With Phoenix Floors. So thanks, Adam. We appreciate you coming on. We appreciate anybody taking the time to speak with us. We're just a couple of knuckleheads talking with contractors.
Well,
so
yourself.
anytime anybody wants to come on and talk to us, we appreciate it. So, give us a little history, Adam. Let us know where you got started, how you got started, how you got to where you're at now, and all the fun stuff.
I got started about 16 years ago. Was working for a larger contractor, and my commute, which commuting in construction is not a big deal, but to my office was to Chatsworth from Fountain Valley, from, obviously Orange County daily. And, all my work was that way up into Santa Barbara. So it was, I wouldn't say the driving, but the driving plus all the other, the other perks of running a business weren't really, where I wanted them, and I wanted to be home more.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of driving.
So I made a decision to get a license, and it's great because I even discussed it with the vice president of the company I was working for, and he backed me up, and it was an amicable separation. And the crazy part is they went out of business 2 years after that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It wasn't because I left. They had an issue with, hey, welcome to California. You have an issue with workers' compensation insurance.
Oh, geez.
That's not abnormal, especially here in California.
Yeah. And I know one of you has a background in insurance, so understands completely.
Yeah, we actually both do. So, full transparency, we're actually insurance brokers ourselves, but we only work with contractors. I feel like you've heard say that enough on this podcast.
We don't talk about insurance.
Yeah, but we try not to talk about insurance, and we don't really want to. It's just more that we only work with contractors, and we love hearing stories and talking to contractors, which is why we started this thing. But yeah, we completely understand where you're coming from on the insurance aspect. It's not fun.
So you were. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was up at 3:30 in the morning, home at 7. But was loving it. I was younger. It wasn't that hard. It's just, okay, I've never, my kids were small at the time. I had just had one. And I was like, man, I'm not home ever.
Yeah. Yeah. You're leaving before they're waking up and home after they're in bed.
Yeah. So, we started that, and it was kind of fun. I started out with just myself doing the installs with a couple guys. And then, we run into the little recession we had. I had been so lucky. I'm telling you, luck of the partially Irish to get locked into a customer who without a doubt, they were $100 million flooring installation company, and they needed labor, but sub labor, not just guys that worked for them. And we did all concrete finishes, concrete shot blasting, concrete polishing, epoxies, things of that nature. And they were bidding this stuff sight unseen and had nobody do the work
without having the labor force. Yeah.
And so I went in and helped them sharpen their pencils with, hey, your bidding this too low. You're not, you're just trying to help them out.
Right.
And it was kind of fun because we skated growing by leaps and bounds during that time when I knew guys going out of business.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that's pretty
they had so much of their work invested in healthcare.
So are you still doing all the concrete finishes and the epoxies, and is that still what you're sticking to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm still doing.
Perfect. So where did you get started in the first company that you were working for, and kind of how did you move up to you said you talked to the vice president. At what point, kind of what level were you at there when you left that company?
I ran their single location, which was in Chatsworth, and it was the largest location in the chain. I mean, we were by far, because there were, installation service centers from here to San Diego, Vegas, Arizona, Northern California. All the way across the country.
Yeah.
And I just dumb luck was, from being an installer before that time and working for people, was hired to run their entire operation there. There I was, barely pushing 30. And, they're like, oh, here's a $7 million operation. What can you tell me about it? I'm just looking at that going, P&L, what does that stand for?
That's funny.
And,
yeah, go ahead.
Even having, college under my belt, it's like, I didn't know anything about running a business, but I'll tell you what, they really, really taught me how to, look at a business from, the bird's eye view. And more than just from, hey, we're out here working out here type, you guys know construction.
Right.
Being able to see it from both sides.
Yeah, learn a lot of the back office stuff and the back end stuff, kind of while you were there before you started on your own.
Got a huge appreciation for every single person, from human resources to accounting to purchasing to nothing. I had no bad word that ever came out of my mouth after learning all that, because I came from the field.
Yeah. And
I just shut my mouth and learned. And,
that's cool. Yeah. It's great to have an opportunity like that, especially, before going into something on your own. So you started on your own. You got I would assume maybe just a couple employees working for you when you got that deal working with the larger contractor.
And they just
from there to where you're at now, kind of how much have you grown? Where are you at? And
so we went from working out of a storage unit, like a single car garage looking storage unit, to a 2,500 square foot facility in Orange with 24 installed. At my height, I've scaled it back a little. At the height, 24 installers. Myself and I had partnered up with another gentleman doing sales. So we were both doing sales to feed. We used to call it feeding the monster. And because we had all these guys, and so between he and I and a couple of the guys we knew long term, we trained all these guys. And invariably over the last 16 years, I honestly have put my own competition on the map. So where we had tons of guys leave, get their licenses, start their own little crews, take our guys, sometimes take our customers, which is what happens.
Yeah.
And but you know what? I'm proud of that. I hate to say it. I'm proud of those guys. They went up and did what I did, but it wasn't always on. Sometimes it was a little. Yeah, I can't get a hold of this guy for a couple of weeks, and he's already out doing his own work. And it's funny, whenever I hire someone, I say, listen, if you want to leave, just come talk to me. That way there's no mystery. You don't have money left here. You need to turn in your last, time card, or if you just want some advice, But, and I don't know if it was, the way I carried myself or the demeanor. I just didn't get a lot of guys that were willing to, go toe to toe in the office in a conversation over coffee. It seemed like this, I'm just going to get out of here. Okay.
Well, that's something to say to the level of training, though, and the confidence that you instilled in them, right? To be able to do something like that.
And now, being older, we scaled the biz back a little bit so that it was more manageable, without so many people. That I'm proud of it. I'm proud of, because I see what they're doing, and they're doing good work. And, and I was like, okay, good. That's important.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about that employee development. Where were you guys when you guys were at that height? I would imagine it was probably a little bit difficult one, finding guys, and two, training them? Were you looking for guys with experience, or how were you guys training them to get to? I mean, obviously you did a good enough job for them to go on their own, but
we were looking for guys with experience. But what we found is the more experience they had, the more bad habits they were coming with, and so, you know, we wanted things, and we did a lot of training in our winter. Oh my goodness. We were training every week, having manufacturers come in, having lunches, you know, where these guys were all off. We got no money being made because we're training.
Right.
Because coming from the field, I thought, you know, if we get these guys just so self-sufficient, but then the bad habit guys hurt us a little, you know, and, you know, so not being able to, you know, follow every guy around every day, then things just unfolding. And I'm going, hey, listen, I need you to do it this way. I'll turn around. What do you think you know? I've been doing this for 20 years longer than you. What do you do? You know, I said, I don't want this to be an argument, but let's come to let's do craftsman work, not blow and go.
Yeah. I think that's important for a lot of people to remember too, because I think there's a lot of guys out there that are scared to hire somebody with no experience because they, you know, feel like, you know, from a productivity level, you're not going to be able to scale up fast enough. But I think as long as you got a dedication to some training and you know, got a few quality guys underneath you that can assist with that training, we hear that bad habit comment pretty often from people, and
yeah, we just kind of we met eyes right when you mentioned that. That has been kind of a common theme. There's been a couple common themes that we've noticed among a lot of these successful businesses, but that is definitely one of them. What was the Adam? Was that something that you had learned with the company that you were working at before, or what kind of started that process of we're going to find guys that are willing and eager to learn, as opposed to those that have been set in their ways in terms of those bad habits?
I got that from the idea from the owners of the former company. They went through an expansion of project managers, salespeople that I helped train. They grabbed a couple of us, you know, area managers, and we came up with our own training program to teach people how to sell what we do. But what their concept was, hey, we're going to get these kids fresh out of college. And I go, that doesn't always, you know, and my whole thing was, it doesn't always work. I don't know, but they were right. You know, the kids were hungry. They were blank slates. And by the time the training started getting better and we kept revising it, and, you know, because there we were kind of a bunch of kids trying to teach these other kids. Well, only difference is we had already been doing it a little while, but these guys poured a ton of money into us. And, you know, looking back, I was like, that was a lot of confidence. and I said that, but it ended up really working well. They've got, you know, they had a great staff. And so I took that thinking, hey, maybe let's, you know, get guys that are in plastering or in here and there, have similar traits, but they're not doing this. And, you know, even a guy that's not with me anymore, he came from the plastering business, was with me for about 8 years. And I'll guarantee you he's the best technician in our business in this country. And that's because of him. That wasn't my training. He was just one of those guys that his aptitude was unreal.
Yeah, I feel like you almost hire work ethic more than you hire the ability, and then you train the ability because the work ethic's.
That's really where we went with it. Because then, man, some guys and there's another dynamic out there in the field. Some guys get so talented they don't want to teach anybody anything. You know.
Yeah.
And it became a point where, because my whole thing was, hey, you want to move up in a business, you want to train your replacement. You know. Yep. Train the guy to take your spot as the supervisor, then you move up. Then all you're doing is driving around all day, dropping off material, buying guys sodas, and going home at 4. You know, instead you're going to be breaking your back running code base till 7, 8 p.m. Going to have to clean up, going to have to be back there at 5, unless you train a crew to do it right, where you just have to check on them. But some people can't let that go.
Right. Fear of the job security
or lack of control.
Yeah. You know, and I think that job security is the key.
Yeah. Is it still just you and a partner kind of running the show, or where are you guys at now from management?
No, I am solely managing the sales. I split up with my longtime partner about 3 years ago. Was it 3? Yeah. And then that because I told him I wanted to scale down a little, get it more manageable. He was moving into a thing where he wanted us to, which is great. No, I mean, the guy is fantastic, great guy. I mean, I have nothing ever bad to say about him. But he just wanted to move into more of a general contracting, have us do more building, and get away from my expertise. He had a lot of expertise. He's a real smart guy. But I'm like, man, if I'm going to start building structural buildings, they're going to start coming down because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a floor guy. You're a structural guy. And so he ended up going and partnering up and working as a general contractor. And I haven't talked to him in a long time, but doing great. Hope the best for him.
Yeah. Well, and then you're sticking to what you know and what you're good at. What where do you guys find yourself right now with this COVID-19 situation? Are you seeing work kind of fall off at all? Are you guys still working? Are you bidding? How's this all kind of affecting you?
The bidding is like almost at a standstill, except for one project. But a lot of calls for, we've done a couple bars, and we're being called in for restaurants right now. People that, have the money are getting their floors done.
Yeah, and especially when they're closed down or don't have to worry about, since they're already losing their revenue.
Right. And then people getting geared up. Everybody's kind of got this optimistic feel like, hey, I need this job bid by here. We got to, once we're ready to roll. But as far as, we're finishing a low-income housing project in Santa Ana that, they never shut the job down during all this.
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually seeing a lot of construction continue on, but it's kind of weird because somebody we talked to yesterday was like, man, the bidding's going crazy right now. We're bidding a ton of jobs, but other people like you are like, yeah, the bidding's kind of slowed down, but we're still working on the jobs we're working on. So in your situation, it's kind of, the longer this goes on, the more the work is going to dry up. Is that kind of how I'm hearing it right
now? No, I just, in the last 2 weeks, it's been like that for me.
Yeah.
And I guess I have my finger on the pulse constantly. Then I was like, God, I didn't bid anything in like 2 days. And then it becomes, I'm not bidding enough.
Right.
But I definitely see it. It'll come up.
Yeah, no, there's definitely, like I said before, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're just not sure how far away from that light we are.
Trying to find the light.
Yeah.
The pinprick.
Well, that's all gonna be whether they lift the veil or what, So everybody's waiting for that magic wand to be waved.
What's the feeling among your guys, your crew, in terms of this whole coronavirus scenario going on? Are they feeling confident? Are they feeling fearful in terms of the virus itself?
Job security.
Yeah. What's the overall?
Like anything, it's always with the guys. If they're not working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, they start getting paranoid.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's sometimes like last week they worked Monday through Thursday and had one of their first Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays off in a really long time. And I was so relieved. I was like, good, no calls all weekend. And these guys are like, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? Which I can share they like working a lot.
Yeah.
And as an hourly person, you want to work a lot.
Right. Yeah.
These are young guys, all young guys. They want to tear it up. And so, yeah, I think a lot of it is just they feel a weak slowdown. They start getting They start getting a little weird. I start getting more text messages late at night. Hey, are we okay?
Yeah. Are there some things from a training standpoint or something that you guys can do to try and keep them busy? Have you looked into any of that kind of stuff to kind of make sure that they're not looking elsewhere during this slowdown?
Yeah, and the hard part is I'd have to do it myself because a lot of the manufacturers aren't letting their reps engage in engage in trainings and stuff, because right now this is, if there wasn't a worldwide health scare, I'd have some guys up in Stockton at an Arctics training. It's things that in our industry they offer these things for free.
Right.
They train the guy, they come and they build neat little boxes to do samples in, and the guys get to work all day, get fed lunch, and get to learn new products.
We actually were talking to somebody yesterday that said that during this, they've told all their employees, their field guys, when things slow down, just go ahead and jump online to OSHA and get your OSHA 30 done. So she said,
that's smart.
Yeah, she said by the end of this, they're going to have their field staff about 95% OSHA 30 trained. Just another.
That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, another thing to kind of just keep them busy and keep them from, like you said, that paranoia sinks in or that anxiety.
Yeah.
And when they're not working and you don't want them jumping on the phone to get the hold of somebody else.
No, because in those busy weeks, we'll get calls. We get called. They get, especially the guys in different companies, because they all know each other now. In our industry in the concrete coatings, it's not as big as, say, carpet companies or vinyl. Those are huge companies. But they talk to each other. Hey, are you busy? Hey, are you busy? And my guys just keep telling them, we're swamped. You need to work? No, call us if you.
Right.
We've come into situations where, it's Friday night and we've got to work all night at Mission Hospital, and then we got to go here, go there. And I got people that just flat out don't show. Into a situation where our main company that we buy all our shirts, PPE, vests, all our collateral, our rep, Michelangelo Berrigan from PTS Marketing, he was dropping off hard hats and stuff to the job like he always does, where we were working on a Friday night all the way into the morning. Ended up changing his clothes out of his fancy slacks and staying with us to help grind the floor because we were short.
That's awesome.
And this is one of those, fancy pants salesman guys.
Yeah.
And was like, it was great. Like, just saying, wow, that was great to see him pitch in.
That's pretty funny.
So, I don't even remember if I paid him or not. Don't hear that.
So outside of this situation that we're in right now with the virus, what are some of the, we kind of like to ask this just to kind of, so if people listening kind of hear everybody else's trials and tribulations, I guess, but what are some of the hurdles that you guys have to clear on a daily basis or on a weekly basis that kind of challenge you sometimes?
What I used to run into, just, gosh, I felt like I was chasing children around. But I'm not even that far removed from the field, but I just cannot fathom how much drinking and drugs is done on a job site.
Yeah.
And it's just, oh my goodness, can't you wait until you go home? Another situation, we were doing work for, I've lost more business due to guys having a tall can in their truck. And the security guard comes up. We're working for a defense contractor in Torrance. And they, hey guys, you can't have that on this campus. And they call me at the middle of the afternoon, you got to come get your guys out of here. We can't let them drive. More than I can count on both hands that's happened.
Wow.
Different people, different. It's just, that's been one of my biggest challenges. that I just can't. I don't get it.
So is there something that you're trying to do to kind of combat that, on a daily basis?
It's funny because we were able to, get our hands on testing things, but it's like to have to test somebody every day to see if they've been drinking. We've been pairing people up with people that don't fool around, and that starts
Kinda
arguments and you're a snitch. And I always spend a lot of time at the jobs, but it's like I can't spend 8 hours at one job if we have 6 going on.
Right.
So, and a lot of it was we started, having people move on to greener pastures for themselves. And when a certain person was gone, we started seeing it dry up. So I don't know if it's getting rid of the ringleader or, but that's, I've got to say, the toughest challenge that I've had.
Yeah, that's a hard one too, because like you said, unless you're literally like a monkey on their back 24/7, it's tough.
And I'm on, like nowadays, I'm on almost every job. I'm working on a Saturday over Santa Ana. I remember the last Saturday I worked there a couple of months ago, about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. What is there, a party going on? You hear music, and it's got a subterranean garage, and there's a couple of crews from just another trade, and they're having a big old party in the parking garage. I was like, why don't you go home?
I feel like there's better places to have a party than on a construction site.
It's kind of that's my thing. It's like, is it that bad at home, or is this just a great group of guys? But anyway, that's where I put my stamp. That's where I had the most trouble.
Yeah, that's definitely not an easy one. So, kind of looking forward, where do you see yourself going ideally, and what kind of things are you guys doing to get there?
I want to stay streamlined. My number one thing is I want to stay ahead of the curve. I want to keep innovating. I want to keep looking for new technology, the newest and latest, greatest product. I've tried in the past because I was fortunate enough to learn from a lot of people years ago with the newest cutting edge, this, that, things that people didn't want to touch because the smell or the misconception of the products. And I like staying into that stuff and into the research and development that I do a lot with my main epoxy supplier. Jeff Farron over at UPC Coatings in Orange, he allows us to try this kit. Tell me what you think. And we're constantly, his material's probably got to be the best in my opinion, but he lets you tweak it, tell you what you think. This is what I don't like about it. And then he changes it. So you get to be a part of the process, which I want to continue to be, to help develop even better products out there.
So is that kind of how you're getting into most of it, is staying in touch with the suppliers and the, I say that versus, maybe, trade organizations or trade shows or, some of that kind of stuff. Is that your main way to stay in touch stay up to?
Yeah, I like that. And I like the trade shows a lot.
Yeah.
Western Hospitality, the big restaurant show. More so, it's a lot of fun, but to be able to talk to every single person there wants to talk about their floors. It's the funniest thing in the world. It's the most boring conversation on earth, but everybody's excited, from this restaurant, this mom and pop to, people at, El Torito and, the larger chains. And,
that's funny.
So, but it's, those are pretty fun. And, and then there's like the CASH show, the Coalition of Affordable School Housing up in Sacramento. Those are always big winners for our business. Because then you get in with architects and stuff, people that build schools.
Yeah.
They're building a lot of schools right now.
Very cool. Well, so something we like to kind of try and pull out of all of our guests here, just from a from an entertainment standpoint is some sort of funny,
crazy
story that you might have, because I know that they all happen out there
especially on the job
especially
site,
in construction and out on job sites. And we've heard a couple little ones that, some parties on the job sites and whatnot, but you got something good for us?
I think, I don't know if it's more relative to what we do, but I had a guy who was, was a sharp guy. And he was some of our machinery requires 3-phase, 400, like serious power. And we had generators placed all around where the job was. And, the big rules, when you're dealing with electricity is to turn it off, right? Before you use it.
Yeah.
Or, when you're switching wires.
Right.
So I'm on my way to the job and I get a call, this so-and-so got electrocuted, and I know it's not funny, but it is funny. And I go, did he get zapped by the big one? He goes, yep. And I get to the job, and he's sitting just hunched over next to the generator, and I look up, and before I started laughing because his front 2 teeth were shot out.
Ooh.
He said, I swear, I promise, I turned off the generator. I had everything winded down before I touched those wires. And I'm looking at, and he's okay physically. Mentally, he just lost his 2 teeth. But I look up, and there's 4 guys in the background. And I got, this is a serious thing. I got to get him to the doctor.
Yeah.
And I look up, and there's 4 guys behind the generator, and these are those tow behind generators. It's a big generator.
Yeah, big ones.
So I kind of stand up just to do a, president of the company look around, because I have my hand on his shoulder, and I look up and I see these 4 guys making hand motions of, like he didn't turn it off. He's a liar. And there's all 4 of them though. And it looks like they're doing like a Saturday Night Live skit, because they didn't want him to know that they were ratting him out. Instead of coming to me, they're standing there going, no, he left it on. And they're pointing at him, and they're making motions of his teeth coming out.
Jeez.
And I'm standing there, and I can't stop laughing. I'm about to start laughing. And I asked him to look up, and I had to get him to the urgent care. But, at the end of the day, he was okay. But at the end of the day, he didn't turn off the generators, and he zapped himself with 480 power.
Wow.
Yikes.
Whoa.
The whole part was at that point, the teeth are probably the best thing that could happen there.
Yeah, he stayed with me for a couple of years, never got those teeth fixed. And it used to be the funniest thing, because like, hey, come here, smile for me. But the funny part was the guys in the background pantomiming him not turning it off. One guy's being shocked, the other guy's making making a noise that he never turned it off, but they didn't want to be seen. Telling you. So they're in the background because he's telling me this story of just, craziness. It had been off for a while, and these guys came out and said it was not turned off.
But he never makes that mistake again.
No, he never did.
Yeah.
He actually was never allowed around.
That's a good lesson.
Right?
Yeah, it's a tough way to learn.
480 through the body, forcing the teeth, shooting
yikes!
Out, man.
I think that he was very, very mechanical guy, which I was shocked he didn't turn it off.
Yeah.
But he ended up being our yard dog for like the next 2 years before he found a new job.
God,
he just worked in the warehouse.
Yeah, well,
so I needed him in there.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, to this day he's fine.
That's good.
And alive.
Yeah, and alive. That's number one.
That was the scary part. But he was just sitting there doubled over. It's like, okay, he's alive. It was like, wow, the teeth. But anyway, I thought that one would fill your hearts.
Yeah. No, that's out there. That's good.
I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, right.
Like, no grass.
I just wish you guys could have seen the guys in the background pantomime that he was lying.
And you're trying to hold it in while you're comforting him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a real tough guy culture.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And so it's like, you don't want to be there crying on the job, something hurts. You know, you guys understand that. And so he's just sitting there trying to hold it in. Like, I knew he wanted to start crying, but I was like, hey, go sit in the car. I'm going to talk to the guys, and then I'll get you out of here.
Man. Well, Adam, we appreciate you being on the show today, but
thank you.
Wanted to see if you could give us just kind of tell us where to find you, where our listeners can find you, and how to get in touch with you.
Best way to get a hold of me is, excuse me, my ears dropped out. Best way is via phone or my email. My email is adam@phoenixfloors.net. And I'm local here to Orange County. But again, I go anywhere. Area code 714-824-7032. And we try to do our best in concrete polishing, epoxies, self-leveling overlayments and underlayments, and things of that nature.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks so much. We appreciate it, Adam. We'll let you get back to your day and back to the business.
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the time and humbled by the attention.
Yeah, no, of course. We'll
we love having you on the show.
Keep in touch, and we'll see you down the road sometime. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, guys.
Have a good one. Hey, thanks for listening. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.